So if you're like me, you probably have placed a trade like this, and then you placed a very tight stop loss, hoping that the market is going to go in your direction, and then you are going to get a sniper entry. But what I didn't know most of the time is these sniper entries might be good if you get one good trade, and it might be good to see if you are looking at one trade that you have gotten into a winning trade. But the problem with this is that most of the time these trades are likely to going to end up as losers, and if you keep losing trades in the market, then you're probably likely going to give up and stop trading before you even start seeing profits in your account. So what I want you to look at, right, is an example like this, right? So this was a good trend going to the downside right here. So if you look at this, you're going to see that this was a good trend going to the downside right here. But if you are placing a trade with a tight stop loss right here, for example, you can see the trade that I placed right there, right? You can see that this trade ended up as a winning trade, but before that we had a huge move to the upside here, which was likely to hit my stop loss if I was using a very tight stop loss, right? So one of the reasons why this happens is because most time people are chasing price action close to the entry, and most of the time, as I said, is because you are placing the trade first, and then you are going to go ahead and look for a stop loss that can protect your account. So let me show you a better way of placing a stop loss, a better way of using your stop losses so that you can start winning more trades. So to do that, I'm going to use our gold range breakout system. This is a robot that we created that automates a gold trading strategy. So if you don't know what a percentage stop loss is, it's basically when you're using the percentage of price movement to calculate your stop losses, right? For example, you can choose to use a 1% stop loss, which means if the market is moving to the upside, right, you are choosing that the stop loss is at least 1% of the price movement, right? So if you go to your MetaTrader and you go to your chart and you find the crosshair 2 right here, if you put the crosshair here and then you drag either to the downside or to the upside right there, you are going to see that at the end of these numbers right there, you can see there's a small percentage that you can see. For example, from where the price is at right now up to all the way here, this is the 1% that we are talking about. So if you are placing your trade at this zone right here, you are going to likely place your stop loss at the 1% price. Now this helps that if the price is moving to the upside, right, most of the time these reversals are not going to go all the way to 1% of the price, because most of the time the market is just going to move maybe by 4% the whole day or less, right? So it's likely not going to hit your stop loss, right? So I'm just going to show you right here. So if I go to the inputs of this EA right here, and if I go to stop loss percentage, right, so if I change this to, let's say, 0.2, which is a very tight stop loss, you are going to likely see that most of my trades are going to be losing, right? So let's start this, and you are going to see that in a second right here. So if I put my stop loss at 0.2% of the price, you're going to see that the stop loss is going to be very tight right there. So you're going to get some of the sniper entries, but most likely you're going to see that most of your trades are going to likely lose. Why? Because there is a chance that the market can reverse with a 0.2% most likely than it is going to reverse with a 1%, right? So my point is, you need a bigger stop loss. As you can see, this is a losing trade. Why? Because our stop loss was very too close to the entry. I'm just going to show you another example. If we get another example like this, you can see that the stop loss was almost hit right there again, and then we get a huge drop to the downside. Again, you can see the stop loss again is hit. We lose another trade right there. But if you had a bigger stop loss and if you had a wider stop loss, then most likely these trades were not going to be losing trades, right? So I tested this with this EA, and then I saw the results were very, very different, right? Again, another stop loss have been hit right there. So you can see we are losing money because we are using a very tight stop loss. But if I go back right here, so let's close this, and if I go back and increase the stop loss to 1% of the price, you are going to see that in this case the stop loss is not going to be very close to the end, and our trade is going to have some room to breathe. So you're going to see that in a second here. And by the way, if you didn't see this system, how it works, what the strategy is, and how we automated it, I will leave a link in the description below, and also you can see the video appearing at the end of this one. Just go ahead and watch that video and see how this system is working, because since 2020 to 2025, it made more than 1000% returns on the investment. So this is basically a good system. You will see it. If you want to see it, just check out the video right there. Now you can see here I have a trade right here, and then we have a wider stop loss. Keep in mind, this is a 5-minute time frame, so the stop loss might look like it's very it might look like it's far away from the entry, but the chances are, if you go to the higher time frame, this stop loss is going to be close, and most of our trades here are going to either close as a profit, or we are going to close with a small loss but not hitting our stop loss. Because with this system, what we do is, at the end of the day, the system is going to close your trade. So if you are trading at the end of each and every day, you have to close the trade, no matter it is in profit or it is in loss. So in this case, our stop loss is not there to get us to lose this trade, but it is there to help us and protect our account if things go completely wrong on our analysis. So give your stop loss some time to breathe is likely going to give you more winning trades than losing trades.